The Quiet Heart. In a small house at the edge of a busy town lived an old woman named Lucy. Her gray hair was always tied in a neat bun, and her hands, wrinkled with time, moved slowly but carefully. Lucy's son, Alex, and his wife, Jenny, had invited her to live with them after her husband passed away. The house was warm, but Lucy's heart felt cold. Every morning, Lucy woke before sunrise. She sat by the kitchen window, watching the first light touch the garden. The smell of coffee filled the air as Jenny prepared breakfast. Alex rushed to work, kissing Jenny and their two children, Diana and Nastya, goodbye. Lucy smiled at them, but no one noticed. Lucy tried to help. She washed dishes, but Jenny quietly re-washed them. She folded laundry, but Jenny refolded the clothes. Lucy's feet shuffled on the polished floors, her presence like a ghost in the home she once dreamed of sharing. The children's laughter echoed through the house. Diana played the piano, and Nastya built towers with colorful blocks. Lucy sat in the corner, knitting a scarf she hoped Diana might wear. But Diana preferred her bright store-bought gloves, and Nastya's towers never included her. One afternoon, Lucy found Nastya's toy train under the sofa. She crawled slowly, her knees aching, and placed it on his shelf. Nastya ran into the room, grabbed the train, and paused. "Thank you, Grandma," he said softly. Lucy's heart fluttered, a tiny spark in the quiet dark. That night at dinner, Lucy sat silently. Alex talked about his job. Jenny discussed Diana's school play. Diana showed a painting of their family, 4 people under a rainbow. Lucy was not in the picture. A spoon clinked against her plate, a sound too loud for her small world. Days turned into weeks. Lucy began to collect small moments, a smile from Nastya, a nod from Jenny, a tired goodnight, Mom from Alex. She stored them like treasures in her heart, fragile but precious. One evening, Lucy found an old photo album in her closet. Pictures of Alex as a boy, his hand in hers, filled the pages. She traced the faded images, tears blurring her vision. The past felt alive, but the present seemed to forget her. A storm raged outside one night. Thunder shook the windows, and Diana ran into Lucy's room, trembling. "Can I stay here, Grandma?" she asked. Lucy nodded, lifting the blanket. Diana curled beside her, her small body warm against Lucy's side. They listened to the rain until dawn. The next morning, Diana drew a new picture, a house, a rainbow, and 5 people. Lucy's heart, quiet for so long, began to beat again. The days grew warmer, but Lucy's room remained cool and dim. She spent hours knitting a scarf with soft blue wool, the Alexei color as Diana's eyes. Her fingers moved slowly, the needles clicking like a quiet clock. Sometimes Diana peeked in, watching silently before running off to play. Lucy wondered if the scarf would ever find its way around her granddaughter's neck. One morning, Jenny asked Lucy to watch Nastya while she went to the market. Lucy nodded, her heart pounding. Nastya sat on the floor, stacking blocks into wobbly towers. Lucy sat beside him, her knees creaking. When his tower fell, she handed him a red block. Try again, she said. Nastia smiled, his cheeks round like apples. Jenny returned with groceries, her arms full. "Thank you, Lucy," she said, placing a bag of oranges on the table. Lucy stared at the fruit, their bright skins glowing in the sunlight. Later, she peeled one carefully, the sweet smell filling the kitchen. She left slices on a plate for the children. Diana ate them all, leaving a sticky smile on the glass. Alex brought home a puzzle one evening, a picture of a mountain lake. The family gathered around the table, pieces scattered like leaves. Lucy stood nearby, her hands clasped. "Grandma, help me," Nastia called, holding a piece shaped like a cloud. Lucy sat down, her breath shallow. Together they found the cloud's place. Jenny glanced at them, her eyes soft. Rain returned, tapping on the windows. Lucy found Diana in her room crying over a torn dress. "It's for the school play," Diana sobbed. Lucy took the dress, her fingers threading a needle with steady hands. She sewed tiny stitches hidden like secrets. The next day, Diana twirled in the repaired dress, never asking how it was fixed. One Sunday, Alex cleaned the attic. He dragged down an old box, photos, letters, and a dusty vase, Lucy's vase. She had painted it years ago, flowers curling around the edges. "Can I put this in my room?" Diana asked. Lucy nodded, her throat tight. The vase sat on Diana's desk, holding pencils instead of flowers. Autumn came and the garden turned gold. Lucy sat outside, wrapped in her shawl. Nastia brought her a leaf red as fire. "For you, Grandma," he said. She pressed it in her photo album, beside pictures of Alex as a boy. The wind carried the sound of Jenny's laughter from the kitchen, warm and unfamiliar. At dinner, Diana talked about her play. "I'm a tree," she said. "I need brown clothes." Lucy stayed up that night knitting a brown shawl with leaves stitched in green. She left it on Diana's bed. The next morning, Diana hugged her, the shawl draped over her shoulders. "It's perfect," she whispered. Winter arrived, and the first snow fell. Lucy woke to find Nastia at her door, mittens on his hands. "Build a snowman with me," he begged. Lucy put on her coat, her bones aching. They rolled snowballs, Nastia's laughter ringing in the cold air. Jenny watched from the window, taking a photo she would frame later. That night, Lucy's scarf lay on Diana's chair, forgotten but not unseen. The blue wool shimmered under the lamp, a quiet promise of love that needed no words. Spring arrived quietly, painting the garden in shades of green and pink. Lucy sat by the window watching Jenny plant flowers in the soil. Deanna and Nastia played nearby, their hands dirty with earth. Lucy's fingers twitched, remembering her own garden years ago. She stood slowly, her legs stiff, and stepped outside. Jenny looked up, surprised. "Would you like to help?" she asked. Lucy nodded, her heart racing. Jenny handed her a trowel and a packet of seeds. Lucy's hands trembled as she dug small holes, dropping seeds one by one. Nastia crouched beside her, copying her movements. "Grandma knows magic," he told Diana. Days later, tiny green shoots pushed through the soil. Nastia ran inside every morning to check their progress. Lucy showed him how to water them gently. "Not too much," she whispered, echoing Jenny's words. Jenny watched from the kitchen window, a faint smile on her lips. One evening, Alex brought home a camera. "Family photos," he announced. They stood in the garden, the flowers blooming behind them. Diana pulled Lucy into the frame. "You too, Grandma," she said. Lucy stood stiffly, unsure where to look. The camera clicked, freezing her awkward smile in time. Later, Lucy found the printed photo on the fridge. Her figure was small at the edge, but she was there. She touched the image, her eyes stinging. That night, she added the photo to her album beside pictures of Alex as a boy. Summer heat filled the house. Jenny asked Lucy to teach Diana how to knit. "It's hard," Diana complained, the yarn tangling around her fingers. Lucy guided her hands the way her own mother had taught her. Slowly, Lucy said. Diana's first stitch was crooked, but she grinned. "I did it." Nastia found Lucy's old storybooks in the attic. They sat on the porch every afternoon, Lucy reading aloud while Nastia leaned against her shoulder. His favorite was a tale about a brave rabbit. "Like you, Grandma," he said. Lucy laughed, a sound so rare it startled even her. One Sunday, Jenny baked a cake. Lucy recognized the recipe, her husband's favorite. "Will you decorate it?" Jenny asked. Lucy's hands shook as she wrote family in wobbly icing. Diana added sprinkles and Nastia licked the spoon. When Alex tasted it, he paused. "This tastes like Dad's," he said softly. Autumn returned and the garden faded. Lucy's seeds had grown into tall sunflowers. Their faces turned to the sky. Jenny cut one and placed it in Lucy's vase on the dining table. "For you?" she said. Lucy touched the petals, gold as the sunlight she once watched alone. Winter's first snow brought a knock on Lucy's door. Diana stood holding a small box. Inside was a framed photo, the garden picture, but cropped to center Lucy. "Now you're in the middle," Diana said. Lucy hung it by her bed where she could see it every morning. The scarf she knit for Diana stayed on the chair, but the shawl with green leaves became Diana's favorite. On cold days, Lucy saw her wearing it, a quiet hug from afar. Winter deepened, wrapping the house in silence and snow. Lucy's room felt warmer now with Diana's framed photo glowing on the wall. One morning, Jenny knocked softly. "Can you help with Nastia's school project?" she asked. Lucy nodded, her pulse quickening. Nastia's project was about family history. He spread old photos on the table, Lucy's wedding picture, Alex as a baby, holidays at the seaside. Lucy pointed at each, her voice shaky but clear. "This was your grandpa. This was our first house." Nastia scribbled notes, his tongue sticking out in concentration. Jenny brought tea, lingering to listen. "I didn't know Grandpa loved fishing," she said. Lucy opened the album, showing a photo of her husband holding a silver trout. He taught Alex, she whispered. Jenny's hand brushed Lucy's shoulder, light as a snowflake. Valentine's Day arrived and the children made cards. Diana glued hearts onto red paper, handing one to Lucy. "For you," she said. The card read, "I-U Grandma" in glittery letters. Lucy pinned it beside her bed, the glitter catching light like tiny stars. Alex brought home a jigsaw puzzle, a snowy village scene. The family gathered around it, pieces scattered like memories. Lucy found the edge pieces, her hand steady. Nastya slotted the church spire and Jenny added the moon. When the last piece clicked, Alex said, "We did it together." Lucy's reflection smiled in the glass frame. Spring returned and the garden stirred. Lucy's sunflowers had left seeds behind. She showed Nastya how to press them into the soil. "Will they grow again?" he asked. "Always," Lucy said. Jenny watched from the porch, her arms crossed but her eyes soft. One rainy afternoon, Diana found Lucy's knitting basket. "Teach me the leaf pattern," she begged. Lucy guided her hands, the green yarn looping like vines. Diana's stitches were uneven, but she wore the scarf proudly. "Grandma and I made this," she told her friends. Nastya's birthday came and Lucy baked cookies, his father's favorite recipe. The kitchen filled with cinnamon and burnt edges, but Nastya ate them all. "Best ever," he said, crumbs on his chin. Jenny took a bite, her face softening. "Just like Dad's," she murmured. Summer evenings brought fireflies. Lucy sat on the porch with Nastya, counting flickers in the dusk. Jenny joined them, a glass of lemonade in hand. They sat in silence, the air humming with warmth and unspoken words. One day, Lucy found her vase on the dining table filled with sunflowers. Jenny said, "They're yours." Lucy touched the petals, her throat tight. That night, she placed a single flower on her husband's photo. "They remember," she whispered. When autumn leaves fell, the family raked them into piles. Lucy sat under a tree, her scarf blue against the gold. Diana ran to her, breathless. "Jump with us, Grandma." Lucy stood, her bones creaking, and tossed a handful of leaves. Laughter echoed, and for a moment she felt light. Winter returned, wrapping the town in snow and silence. Lucy's room felt brighter now, with Diana's photo and cards covering the walls. One morning, Jenny asked Lucy to help prepare holiday cookies. Lucy's hands trembled as she rolled dough, but Jenny smiled. "Just like Mom used to make," she said. The words hung in the air, warm as oven heat. The family decorated the tree together. Nastya hung paper stars and Diana placed angels on the branches. Lucy unwrapped an old ornament, a glass dove from her wedding. "This was your grandpa's favorite," she told Alex. "He hung it near the top, its wings catching the light." Christmas Eve brought a knock on the door. A neighbor handed Lucy a package, a knitted blanket from her old friend Martha. Lucy hugged it close, the wall smelling of lavender and memories. That night she draped it over Diana's bed. "Grandma's magic," Diana whispered, snuggling under it. New Year's Day, Alex found Lucy's old recipe box. "Let's cook together," he said. They made stew, the kitchen steamy and rich with herbs. Lucy stirred slowly, Alex's hands steadying hers. Jenny took a bite, tears in her eyes. "Tastes like home," she said. Winter melted into spring. Lucy's sunflowers pushed through the soil again, taller this time. Nastia measured them daily, marking heights on the wall. Jenny hung a chart beside it, Lucy's name written in curly letters. Grandma's Garden, it read. One rainy afternoon, Diana found Lucy's wedding dress in the attic. "Can I try it on?" she asked. The fabric was yellowed but soft. Lucy buttoned the back, her fingers remembering every stitch. Diana twirled, the dress sweeping the floor. "You're beautiful," Lucy said. Jenny took a photo, the dress blurring past and present. Summer brought a family picnic. Lucy sat under a tree watching Diana and Nastia chase butterflies. Jenny handed her a sandwich, their fingers brushing. "Thank you," Jenny said. "For what?" She didn't specify, but Lucy knew. On Lucy's birthday, the children woke her with a song. Nastia carried a cupcake, the candle flickering. Diana gave her a new photo album filled with pictures of their family. Lucy's hands shook as she turned pages. Knitting, gardening, snowman, she was in every one. Autumn leaves fell and the family raked them into piles. Lucy sat on the porch wrapped in Martha's blanket. Alex joined her holding 2 mugs of tea. They sipped in silence, the steam curling between them. "I'm glad you're here, Mom," he said. That night, Lucy added a new photo to her old album, a picture of 5 people under a sunflower sky. Her finger traced their faces, each one a thread in the tapestry she'd almost thought she'd lost.